Stories you rot in.
I learned to read quietly. Not because I was shy, because it annoyed Gareth. He hated the way I disappeared into books. Said it was childish, unrealistic, embarrassing. Whenever he caught me reading, he'd sigh loudly and say things like, "Still pretending your life is a fairy tale?" Or, "What are you this time, some Scottish Duchess with a magic teapot?" It was always Scotland that bothered him most. The Highlands, the stone cottages, the men who spoke softly but meant what they said. Men who protected instead of policed. Men who didn't laugh at a woman for wanting tenderness. I read whenever I could. In the bath, on my lunch break, sitting in the car before going inside. The books reminded me that other lives existed, ones where love didn't feel like something you had to earn by shrinking. Gareth noticed that too. The mocking turned sharper. He started, accidentally, bending book spines. Losing my place. Telling friends I was obsessed, delusional, living in fiction because I couldn't cope with reality. One night, after I laughed at something I was reading, he snapped the book shut and said, "You know none of that would ever happen to you." Something in me went very still. The divorce wasn't dramatic. No screaming. No thrown plates. Just paperwork and the strange relief of being able to breathe without bracing myself. Gareth told everyone I'd ruined the marriage chasing fantasies. I didn't correct him. I booked a trip instead. Scotland had always lived in my imagination, so I went to meet it properly. I told myself it was just a holiday. A goodbye to a version of myself who needed escape. That's where I met Alistair. Not in a castle, not on a cliff. In a small bookshop in a town where the air smelled like rain and old stone. He noticed the novel I was holding and smiled like it was an inside joke. "Good choice," he said. "They always get the weather wrong, though." He didn't mock me. He asked what I loved about the stories. He listened. He told me about his grandmother's cottage, about the land, about staying because roots mattered to him. He spoke gently, but there was nothing weak about him. Reality, it turned out, could be better written than fiction. We walked. We talked. Slowly, carefully, no rushing, no declarations meant to trap instead of cherish. When I told him about my marriage, he didn't offer solutions, just space. I went home, and then I went back. Within a year, I moved. A small house. A job I enjoyed. A life where reading in silence was not an act of defiance but a pleasure shared. Alistair brings me tea while I read. Sometimes he reads too. Sometimes he just watches the rain. We married quietly. As for Gareth, he remarried quickly. Needed an audience. Needed control. The new marriage didn't last. Neither did his job. Apparently being cruel isn't the same as being competent. Last I heard, he still tells people I ran away to live in a fantasy. Maybe I did. But I wake up every morning to Mist on the Hills, a man who respects my inner life, and shelves full of stories that no one will ever take from me again. It turns out I didn't love romance novels because they were unrealistic. I loved them because they taught me what I deserved, and gave me the courage to leave before I forgot.